Hey everyone, today I'd like to show you one of my recent projects. It's a character selection screen that you can find in lots of games. As you can see, we can select different equipment from different categories. For example, we can change hair type and it will be updated on our character. Also, we have a random button, we can click on it and random equipment will be applied. And finally we can rotate our character to see it from different angles. And I'll show you how it was made. Before we begin, I'd like to mention the assets I've used. You can find them here on this web page. My setup closely resembles what's in there, so it's worth checking. For example, you can see the assets, the character, and the guidance for the basic setup, so you can follow along if you want. We start from the data asset that controls all the setup in the project. Here we got 6 categories where we can assign the equipment and it will be automatically updated in the project. For example, let's take a look at this one. It's just a black hair. Here we have a mesh name, mesh, material, and the mesh thumbnail. For example, if we need another element, we just add another element and assign appropriate data here, and that's be it. This is the code representation of this data asset. We have one class for object and one class for this data asset. And inside this data asset we have the 6 categories, and because we are using title property, this title property refers to this mesh name. Therefore, each array's object can be shown like this instead of indexes, which I found very useful because you can easily locate something that you want and change it if you need it, which I think is very convenient. Next we have our character. It's quite a simple class. We only have a couple of static meshes that we set up in C++. Here we got those static meshes and a couple of methods that accept this object that was created. So we initialize it in the constructor and then we have those methods. They are pretty similar. We just take one of those and just assign skeletal mesh and set the material. So we can later use this inside our UI logic. Finally, we can speak about widget part. For the main character selection widget, I use a simple overlay with a scroll box inside, and for each type of equipment I use TileView, and because I use TileView I have to create a widget entry class, and for this class I created this simple entry. We have name, preview and mesh object, so it's pretty simple widget. This one, so it's just the size box with the overlay and some images for style, so image for selected, image for preview and so on. Here we got the simple logic for update visual state. We just check if it's selected, then we perform some kind of logic. And we have also some custom events. For example, when we hover and unhover, we play this nice animation, this simple animation where we add outline and image increases a bit. So it's pretty simple animation, but it looks fine. Then what about C++ side? Here we have our main widget. It's a bit bigger, but still it's pretty simple. We just bind widgets like each tile view, so we can update it, and inside native construct we check if this data set is valid, then we just reset. Set is selected to true by default, so because initially we equip nothing, as you can see, no hair, no glasses, etc. Then we add binding for the event, so when we click we have this one method that performs, and where we update this visual state, and we just have it for each type of equipment. So that's basically it. We also handle the random button. We just select random mesh. It's a simple free function. We just check if it's empty and just get random equipment from it. And finally, what I wanted to show as well, it's this tick function. Here we just handle the rotation itself. We just take the mouse position and check the calculation and add some position. So the logic's pretty simple, but it actually works just fine. As you can see, we can rotate and it looks fine. Yeah guys, I think that's all what I wanted to show for you. I think it looks simple and pretty efficient, so you can use it in your own project. See you on next videos guys.